All right, it is Wednesday, ladies and gentlemen, and this is the Miami Dolphins preview and prediction video for this week's game against the Tennessee Titans on Monday Night Football at Hard Rock Stadium. First and foremost, I would like to thank any of the new subscribers that have came in over the last week or so. Unfortunately, in that first video you witnessed, I absolutely lied to you. I said I was going to come back and make a video Monday about the Washington game, but I was just too damn tired from all that driving, and, it is what it is. I'm already making excuses. Everything I do is sort of just off the cuff, right? So, sometimes those things happen, and, I'll try to not blatantly lie in the future. I do appreciate anyone that even gives me the opportunity to serenade your ears with the absolute nonsense that spews out of my mouth on a weekly basis. But let's talk football, because the Miami Dolphins absolutely kicked some ass on Sunday, and now what I feel like is a step up in competition. And to be honest with you, going into that Sunday game, I still was a little nervous, even though the Dolphins are obviously the better team. I'm still scarred by the 20 years of watching Dolphin football, that I know that on any given week, that old zombie football that they played for most of the 2000s can come back. And luckily, so far this year, that hasn't happened, other than the Buffalo game. And this week, we got the Tennessee Titans on tap, and this is a game the Miami Dolphins should win in theory, and to be honest, I think they will. But when we look at last week offensively, let's start with the offense. Finally, a game with no turnovers. Tua looked absolutely phenomenal. Probably should have even had a better game than he had, but they keep running for touchdowns, man. They're not liking to throw it on the goal line, but it is what it is. I mean, stats are stats, right? And Tua had a wonderful game, and Tyreek was outstanding. Waddle dropped a couple passes, but he was pretty good for the most part. And, no turnovers. But here's the caveat. That was the worst defense in football. I'm not trying to take anything away from the Dolphins, or I'm not trying to say that it doesn't count or anything like that, but the reality is that was a bad defense by the NFL standard. So, with that being said, going into Tennessee, the competition is stepping up a little bit. Obviously, the Titans lost Simmons, so that's good news for the Dolphins. Never want to see anyone get hurt, but in the context of your odds of winning the football game, it certainly helps out in Miami's favor. And, it's still a step up in a defense, regardless of injuries sustained by the Tennessee Titans defense. So I'm starting to actually feel like I can take these bandages off as far as the Dolphins offense goes. The scars of years past where I feel like I can't trust the offense on any given Sunday. I'm actually going to predict that the Dolphins offense does well yet again. And, maybe there'll be a turnover in there. Maybe there won't. I hope not. But I expect the Miami Dolphins offense to move the ball really well in this game. And I'm hoping for 3 touchdowns from Tua. Hopefully no picks. And then as far as the run game goes, I think that this is going to be a passing game. That Titans D-line, even without their top player, is still a pretty damn good defensive line that could really stuff that run, especially if you're trying to go up the middle. Maybe they'll find a little success on the edges to the outsides, get some good 10, 15-yard pops there. But I think the majority of yards this game is going to have to come through the air. And that's going to be in the form of trying to get our man's Tyreek Hill to 2,000 yards. At this point, for him to do it, he'll have to average 102 yards a game. And I don't expect him to get 100 yards every game until the end of the season. So I think if if the Dolphins are serious about saying, all right, let's do this, Tyreek, let's get you the 2K, which I think they are, because they know he wants it, and he wants it. Tua knows he wants it. You're going to have to probably stick another 150 or 160 game in there, and this might be the game to do it. They have tall corners that like to get their hands on you. If Tyreek could just beat that press one time, I mean, you could stick them with a 70-yard bomb or a 60-yard bomb, whatever it may be, en route to getting another 160-yard game. And as far as getting to your 2,000-yard goal, that would be huge. Now, that doesn't really mean anything to us fans as far as what we want to see the team do. Obviously, I'd love to see Tyreek Hill get 2,000 yards and win the MVP and all that. I mean, he's one of my favorite players I've ever seen don the Miami Dolphin uniform. What matters is that this Dolphin team finds a way to compete for the Super Bowl. Now, like I say every week, with the competition we've been playing, I can't sit here, look you dead in the eyes, and tell you that the Dolphins are definitely a Super Bowl contending team. I am going to say that I'm starting to lean towards that direction more than I have been at any other point in the year. I'm starting to think that, look, you see all these cranks in the armor in the AFC. The Dolphins could do this. And they're going to have to win some of these games down the stretch that we'll get to when they pop up. But it starts with finishing business against the Tennessee Titans. And if you look at the Titans, they're not as bad as that record shows. They just lost in overtime to the Colts. I believe they've had like 5 to 6 losses that were one-score games. So, this isn't a game where I anticipate the Dolphins to just mow over them and it ends 45-10 again. No, this is probably going to be a closer game. And when we hone in on the Miami Dolphins defense, the most important thing is that they're going against a rookie quarterback in Will Levis, who, like Sam Howell, can get out of the pocket and get some yards and also roll out and hit guys down the field. Obviously, they have DeAndre Hopkins, who is still explosive in year 10,000 or however old that man is, but he's still a damn good receiver. So the Dolphins defense, I think, dawns a bigger task than the offense. Will Levis, to this point, has 7 touchdowns to only 2 interceptions, which he hasn't thrown a pick in the last few games. So getting him to turn the ball over, it might not be easy. But the way I see it is that this is still a game the Miami Dolphins should win at the end of the day. And the defense should once again have a pretty good performance. Agba coming off the edge. Van Ginkel has just been outstanding. And obviously Jerome Baker's not going to be playing this week. So it's going to come down to Duke Riley and David Long in the linebackers. So I expect those guys to do all right. I think they'll feel Jerome Baker's missing a little bit. Derrick Henry might get a couple good runs here and there, a couple passes down the field on wheel routes or whatever it may be. But I overall see this game going well for the Miami Dolphins. My final prediction is that the Miami Dolphins are going to win this game 35-20. That is my prediction. I'm pretty comfortable with that. Covering the spread, would I put my money on it? Yeah, I probably would. So that's how I feel about it. And I hope you all have a good rest of your week. And I'll talk to you guys Monday night after the Miami Dolphins move to 10-3. And hopefully, this is a discussion that we could have in the comments. Are you rooting for the Buffalo Bills or the Kansas City Chiefs? Because on one hand, the Kansas City Chiefs are fighting to compete with us for that 1 seed. And on the other hand, if we could win and the Bills can lose, man, that division might be ours. It might be over at that point. What would we have left to do? Just beat the Jets? Man, that's what I want. I want the Chiefs to win, man. I want the Bills to be eliminated as soon as possible because that is the team I don't want to see at any point in these playoffs. I just want them gone. I want Mike White playing in Week 18 because the Bills are mathematically eliminated. Or, you know what, actually, I want us to be the ones that eliminate the Bills. But I still want us to get that division crown as soon as possible. And, of course, if the Bills happen to win and at the end of the day it helps us secure a 1 seed or a 2 seed, then, so be it. So be it. But I do want the Dolphins to get this division as soon as possible. That is goal number 1 in my mind. And then once the division is secured, then we could worry about seeding, getting the 1 seed. Look, that's not even on my mind right now because there's still so much football left to be played. Whether the Chiefs win or lose, at the end of the day, there's still other teams like the Ravens that we're going to have to beat to even get that 1 seed. So that's my thoughts on that game. I'll be hard body rooting for the Kansas City Chiefs. They're coming off a loss. They're going to be pissed off. The Bills are playing for their lives, essentially. And, that is what it is. Anyway, I will talk to y'all on Monday, possibly Sunday if something crazy happens. I've been making more videos about other teams, and I sort of kind of enjoy that and plan on continuing to slowly make my way towards that route more and more. Obviously, always going to make the Dolphins videos first and foremost. All right, I'm doing too much talking. I'm getting the fuck out of here.